My name's Kat, and I'm a musician and student in biology. And I'm sharing my story of detransition. I once identified as trans. I started to go through medical transition, and then because of health side effects and detrimental changes to my singing voice that forced me to stop performing, I decided transitioning wasn't right for me. And now I want to share my story with others because I want other people to know that it is possible to manage gender dysphoria and accept yourself without physically modifying your body or going through surgery, things like that. So I want people to know there's another option. From about 13 to 15, I internally considered myself transgender, but I didn't really tell anybody until I was around 15 or 16 and that was when I came out to my parents. My mom initially was somewhat supportive because she had some memories of me being gender nonconforming. I liked to dress up as my dad when I was a little kid, and she remembered that. I had a pretty troubled teenagehood. I suffered from anorexia and bulimia, which was also an attempt to sort of erase the feminine shape of my body. It took me a really long time to decide to medically transition because, for one thing, I was attempting to pursue a singing career, and so knowing that my voice would change was a big deal for me because I didn't know how long it would take me to get used to the new voice. And but also, like, I was just thinking my voice would get deeper. I came out online on, I think it was on Facebook and all my other social media, and I was going by the name Tony. From the first dose of testosterone that I took, and I was injecting myself. I never ever had a doctor show me how to do it or anything. My voice was changing, which I knew would happen, but it was sort of gradually changing, and I was getting excited because I was able to speak at a lower pitch and like hit lower notes, and that was cool. But then at around the 2 month mark, things started to shift, and I started to have some health side effects. I started getting this pain in my right side. And then the other thing, which, I'm not sure how much was the testosterone and how much was from binding my chest, I started to get chest pains and heart palpitations. But the thing that really set me over the edge, where I was like, okay, I have to stop doing this, is the vocal side effects. I just had this like really rapid vocal drop, and I opened my mouth to sing and nothing came out. It was just air and like this really ugly sounding squeaking noise. And that was when I was kind of like, crap, what have I done to myself? Like, is that ever gonna come back? And so that's when I really started to question everything. And about 2 weeks later, I decided to quit testosterone cold turkey. Going off the testosterone was a confusing experience. I still identified as trans at that point. Like, I didn't want to go back to like living as a woman, but I just knew that for my health and like for, to try to salvage my singing career, I had to go off of the testosterone. I ended up identifying as non-binary because I was like, this whole trans thing didn't work out for me. I felt like I was leaving a cult. That was when I realized like how unhealthy it was for these activists who have been telling me like, don't even listen to any other beliefs. Like, don't listen to detransitioners, don't listen to anyone who may be skeptical or critical of like gender identity theory. So I was like, it makes sense for me to just like remove all of that baggage and like just be myself. And so I don't really feel that I identify as a woman or any gender at all. Now, a year and a half later after my detransition, I feel like I'm really more comfortable with myself and happier than I have been in a long time, maybe ever.